So
Yeah.
tell us about C. So you're in day 10 of 14. How long is production for you, and what can you
I
tell us?
I have been told that I can't tell anybody about anything at sea. So I like really apologize.
Okay.
But so I mean they're very tight-lipped about this, and you have to sign, non-disclosure agreements and stuff like that. So I can't really talk about it, but basically I did a couple episodes before the quarantine, and this is just picking up where that left off.
So you've already been on the show. I have not seen it yet.
Well, I had started on their season two,
Season
but
two.
I don't know when they give season two out.
Got
I
it.
have no. I think they save it all, get it shot, get it in the can, and then release it. But so I'll be doing a few more episodes for they only shoot 6 episodes a season, and I do a few more, and then maybe a few more for season 3. That's about it.
Do you like the role?
Yeah, it's fun.
No,
It's
no,
very
David. I
interesting.
hate the role. I just do it to get a paycheck and to spend time with my
Yeah.
buddy.
Well,
So
I tell you, it is interesting. I can probably talk about this, which is you have to go through sensory training because everybody's blind, and so you realize that your cues are always audible. They're auditory. So you turn and you look at things. So you have to train yourself to or they're visual, but you have to train yourself to turn to auditory cues only, and be like, like you're hearing things and stuff. So I spent the day with this one guy who's blind, and we went walking around. He had to put a thing on you, and you go walking around with him, and it's fascinating. What's fascinating is how they use the sensory elements that they have with such greater precision than we do.
I mean, the blind.
He can walk into a room, and by tapping, he can kind of tell how big it is. Just
Isn't
by
that something?
the echo and stuff, he can kind of get a feel for like the thing, and it's amazing that what we rely really heavily on the senses that come easily to us. So we're not very auditory; we're more visual.
That's crazy. So there, how has it been to share this the stage, as it were, with Jason again?
Jason and I actually, weirdly enough, haven't worked together yet. That hasn't
Really?
happened. No, that has not happened yet, which is, I think, kind of interesting.
Okay. So it's a bigger palette than just him and what he's seeing, and I haven't seen season 1. So
Yeah.
what do you think of the show?
I like the show. It's a big production. It's really amazing and impressive, and I recommend anybody get through the first 2 or 3 episodes because it really gets going. And after like 2 or 3 episodes, you get hooked, and it's a big, epic adventure. So yeah, you should check it out.
Leave
And,
it to Apple to produce some top-notch quality content. So I wouldn't have expected otherwise.
yeah, they have the pockets to put into production value.
Did
So
you know that Apple was interested in acquiring SG1 for a season 11?
I did not know that.
Yeah, before Arc of Truth, they were considering picking it up. So before Arc of Truth and Continuum.
That was before they really launched out.
Exactly. That's right. That was 10 years ago, something like that.
That was before they even had a platform. So that's
Yeah.
kind of interesting. I wonder how they would have done that.
So with this show, with Dial the Gate, my intention here is to be the archive of American television for Stargate. We're on YouTube. This is humanity's visual record, probably for the next multiple decades. Right. As new fans discover the show, I want to create a space for them to come to see the oral history, to watch people discuss episodes from the entire franchise from all aspects of production. So that's my intent here. So my hope is that after we're finished with this episode, a few months down the line, you'd be willing to come back and talk about a few more episodes from the show,
Of course,
going through the series. So I really appreciate you being here.
Happy to. Happy to be of service.
Did you always know that you? But let's take a step back before Stargate. Let's specifically focus on you, and I want to focus on the people that made you who you are, your personal heroes, and the people who inspired you to become the guy that you are. But did you always know that you wanted to act?
No, not at all. Acting came almost by accident. So it was interesting. I worked, some people know this, but I worked in, it's a backwards trajectory where most people kind of grow up and work harder. I actually started working hard and was disciplined, and I was like, till I finally ended up in Hollywood.
What did you do?
Well, I was pretty disciplined. So each summer I was like really, I grew up on this ranch farm like environment, and we did a lot of manual labor and stuff. Like we were outdoors all the time. And I went away to school and so forth, but I spent the summers doing internships. So I worked at Dean Witter Reynolds. I worked at Wells Fargo. I worked in, I apologize.
You're fine.
I thought
Don't
this
worry
was
about
turned off.
Yeah, welcome to my life. I thought it was turned on.
I'm trying to figure out, I should have a kid blocker because it's my kids who always call. And I know what they want. They want money. They always want money. Hey, Dad, you want money? They're like, no, I just called to say hi.
Oh, sure.
Can I borrow $50? Yeah. So anyways, I worked in Wells Fargo, and then I worked in Washington, D.C. as an intern. And it kind of culminated in a job that was pretty interesting, short-lived, but interesting, which was I was an advance man for George Bush Sr. An advance man is somebody who goes out and organizes trips. So if George Bush was going to Los Angeles or London or whatever, you go in advance, maybe a week, maybe 3 days. You get everything organized so that when his plane lands, you then steer him through the entire process, and you work the schedule out by literally by 30-second increments. It's an incredible logistical
So you had to have worked a little bit with Secret Service then.
Oh, we did. Secret Service worked for us, which is like a source of occasional tension because, Secret Service has their own manifests that they have to deal with, which is protect the president. But then some of us were like, look, this is a great backdrop. He can speak here, and then this is going to make a great front page. We got the president there, you got a flag, you got the buildings in the background, and they're, Secret Service will come up and say, yeah, well, you can get sniper fire from here, sniper fire from there, sniper from there. And you're like, yeah, but I can't keep him in a box. And they said, okay, just remember that when he gets shot, it's on your head. That's a little heavy. So
maybe we can work something out.
You can override them occasionally.
Wow.
But you try not to work that. You try to always create something that works for everybody because they're in an impossible situation. And if it was up to them, they just keep them in a box all the time. That's the way they think. But they know that certain things have to be done. So, it was interesting. And the Secret Service, man, they were they were such studs. I mean, they literally.
Well, you would think that they would have to be the best.
They go to the bar,
I mean,
whatever hotel bar they're at, and they're downstairs. Girls are just like, I'm a Secret Service man.
Oh, they really? Oh my gosh. You'd think that they wouldn't be allowed to do that. Yeah, I think they would be like they're CIA or something. Just flout it. Oh, that's funny. Gosh. What? So
I got to turn the. They keep interrupting me. What is wrong? Is it my message that's on? No, FaceTime is shut down.
The kids are trying to get through?
Yeah, I'm going to turn off.
Just take the call if you need to. If they call back, it's fine.
No.
Sound like my dad.
FaceTime
He's
off,
fine.
so I don't think that's going to work. All right. Anyway. I did that. Then I really didn't like the people that I worked with. So it's really weird. I have the message off, and it's still killing me. They are, when my kids want something and need something, they just
right now
stop. Yeah. So let me you can witness this. I'm going to send a text back to him saying, I'm in the middle of a live interview period. Can you patiently sit back for another hour, please? By the way, I wouldn't say it so nicely if I wasn't on live.
Well, I appreciate that.
I'd be like,
YouTube doesn't like swearing.
Sit your white ass down, boy. Anyways, so I got a little tired of that and tired of those people, and I decided that that's not something I wanted to do. Perhaps I want to do something like writing. And so I kind of ventured into that kind of realm of things. And I was working at a magazine in New York called Interview Magazine, which is a magazine founded by Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol was not there when I was there. And then I ended up getting fired from that job, which was, to me, devastating. And I got fired for some really interesting reasons, which is, one, probably wasn't very good at what I did. So there's always that. But I worked for an art director, and everybody was screaming and yelling all the time. Screaming and yelling. There was drama, drama, drama. Now, I had just come, my last job was working for the most powerful man in the world. And what was kind of creepy is that nobody ever yelled. Everybody was like, we're going to go through your taxes to make sure you didn't cheat. And of course, that sends shivers down your spine. But they never raised their voice. Now I'm in a magazine. They think they're so important, and they're screaming and yelling and crisis. And I think they could just read on my face that I didn't totally respect them, that I thought they were a little ridiculous. And I think that ended up getting me fired. So
did they know your background though? I mean, did they know that you just come off of working for the most?
They could care less.
Oh, okay.
They don't care. If anything, by the way, he was a Republican, and they clearly weren't. So in their mind, there was residue that they didn't like. They didn't realize my job's just organizational.
Right. Has nothing to do with the party.
Nobody's even wanting my opinion if I had the opinion they wanted. But so it was purely organizational. Nonetheless, I'm fired. I'm in New York, and I've got this apartment, and I'm pretty nervous about how I'm going to pay rent. And my neighbor was an actor, and he was always like having a good time. He had a Harley Davidson, and everything just seemed so fun and easy for him. And I was like, what do you do? And he said, I'm an actor. And I didn't even know what that really meant, to be honest with you. And I said, well, so like, what do you do? And he said, well, for me, I do commercials and blah, 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 blah. And I get paid a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, you should try it. And I said, well, that's interesting, but I'm between jobs. Maybe I should try that. So I was shy. I was really shy. Like not shy on a one-to-one basis, but in front of groups, I just did not want ever to be seen. And so I was terrified by the idea of this. And so I just thought, well, look, for no other reason, maybe it'll get me over that. I went to his agent. I had to read a monologue, and I thought it was terrible, and it probably was. But she said, it's really interesting. You have a certain quality. You're not trained. You need to train, but you have a quality. So I went to the neighborhood playhouse where, it's a good school, good training. And I gave it a shot, and I got lucky. I came to LA, and I sort of applied certain things. And I said, I'm going to give myself 8 to 12 months, and if I'm not really getting traction after that time, then I'm going to have to veer into a different direction, because I really gave myself a limited amount of time. But I also knew that at that age, that's the age you want to try things. You're pretty, I was in my mid 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I think, 25, 26, something like that. And so I just got lucky, and I started doing commercials. And you say it was a break. It's an initial break, which was, there was a guy who shot a series of Pepsi commercials with Cindy Crawford. And he put me in 7 commercials back to back. So I was able to get my SAG card. I was able to get all that stuff. And then it started rolling. And once people go, oh, he's in demand for these people, then they hire you for that. And then pretty soon you're working, and then they give you some speaking parts, and it starts to slowly unravel. I should say unfold.
It snowballs. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I started getting some shots at some TV shows, and I started doing some stuff. But the real break came with a miniseries for NBC called Family Album, which was written by Danielle Steele. And back then, miniseries were huge. They were like a big deal. They were the big epic that people invested in back then. And this was supposed to go up against the World Series. they had to have alternative programming to the World Series. That year, the World Series actually ended up not happening because they went on strike.
What year is
So
this?
I don't even ask
80s,
me.
90s?
No, this is the 90s.
Okay.
But it ended up being a big hit. And it was the character, I don't know, for whatever reasons, people liked it. And it suddenly everything changed.
Thank you for watching this clip from Dial the Gate. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving us a thumbs up with that like button. It will encourage the algorithm to show this to other Stargate fans. Also, please consider sending this to a fellow Stargate friend. I also want to invite you to subscribe to future episodes right here on YouTube. We are a live show, so changes are likely to happen all the time. And if you plan on joining us live, you'll want to be the first to know. Be sure to visit dialthegate.com for the complete guest schedule so you'll know when to join us and ask your very own questions to our guests. See you on the other side.